Martin, it's time with the quarterbacks, people shopping. What's going to happen? Is Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay? Where's Derek Carr going? What's going to happen with Lamar Jackson? Is he going to get traded? Is he going to stay there? Is he going to get a deal? I mean, this is all the offseason NFL. But let's center in on Derek Carr, and he's available. And a name and situation that could work out for him is the New York Jetropolitans, who started off the season, I think they were 7-3, 7-4, and then quarterback play was not good. I think they had, Martin, 4 passing touchdowns in the last 6 games, if you could believe something like that, which is incredible in this league where everybody passes the football. But anyway, they want to move on from Zach Wilson. Mike White, is kind of a flash in the pan. He's good for 2 or 3 games.
Mike White's a backup quarterback. That's what it is. That's fine.
But they put him in as a starter, and they got the same results that he got the last time he was in. But anyway, my point is, your take on Derek Carr and if he's a fit for the Jets, or do you see the Jets getting somebody else, or Carr going somewhere else? Where are you on Derek Carr?
If I'm the Jets, I would be doing everything in my power to go get Lamar Jackson. That's what I would be doing. Especially when you think about that team is young. That team has a bunch of guys on a rookie deal. That team had the offensive rookie of the year, and then he got hurt in Breece Hall, and then they still had the offensive rookie of the year. Like, that team is a ton of young talent. I'd be ready to back the Brinks truck up down to Baltimore and make Lamar Jackson my franchise quarterback and build, because I have already built around him in New York. Now, the thing is, I just don't see Derek Carr as somebody who moves the needle in the same way that everybody else seems to do it. Like, he's only had 30 touchdowns more than once, I think, in his career. Like, guys like Patrick Mahomes or even Justin Herbert's only had less than 30 touchdowns once in his 3-year career so far. Derek Carr, 2 playoff appearances, and I get he's been there a long time. Going to a place like New York, I think he'll be able to handle the press conferences and the New York media that everybody talks about how it's so aggressive. But I think it's just a lot more attention is paid to your team in that way.
The difference is when you play in certain towns. In New York, there's 20 reporters that cover the team,
right?
And in most towns, it's 2.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There's way more attention. There's way more attention.
Yep.
It's more, for lack of a better term, pressure in that way of you're answering questions from all different angles, answering questions from all different types of people, and you're not necessarily going to get your access revoked if you ask something that is a little uncomfortable. I think Derek Carr will be fine with that aspect of being a New York Jet quarterback. And you see the things that he's had to go up for and answer as a member of the Oakland/Las Vegas Raiders. However, on the field, I think it's a reason why he got benched. We talk about Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing for most of the year. If he didn't finish the league atop the league in rushing, you got Devontae Adams on the other side. I mean, on the wide receiver. Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow both missed time this year. But the problem in that Raiders offense was, I think, the quarterback not making big throws. Now, he doesn't play defense, so he couldn't have helped.
I was about to jump on you because they gave up 4 double-digit leads. Martin, they blew 3 17 or more point leads, which had never happened in the NFL, which was just...
I get you, but you're not winning a lot of NFL games with only scoring 17 or 21 points.
No,
but
my point is, you had the lead.
You got to continue to pace.
I get that, but you can't have a defense giving up a 17-point lead. They didn't lead 17-9. They led by 17 or more. That's 3 scores, and that's where the issue comes in. He didn't have a good year. Let me just jump in. He didn't have a good year, so I'm not saying he did. He's had a ton of coaches and offensive coordinators. He's a Pro Bowler 4 times. For the Jets and what they've been looking for the last 2 decades, or they went to the AFC Championship game, Martin, twice with Mark Sanchez. I mean, seriously. So you don't have to have the end-all, be-all quarterback to win in the National Football League. If you have a defense, if you have guys who can run the football and eat up clock, you just want a guy who doesn't really don't make the big mistake in the wrong situation. And I really believe that Derek Carr does fit the Jets because you don't want to now, obviously, if you could get Lamar, I just think that's a pipe dream. I just think the Ravens would not trade him to the Jets. That's just me. And I could be wrong. Maybe you'll be right.
I just
don't
think
see
on the Lamar thing, I
get
feel that
that
the franchise tag is not a viable option. Like, I know that it's what everybody would expect, but I see it. I just feel like
so
that's
you think
that's
that
why I think
they won't do it. They'll just say, "Oh, forget it. That's it."
No, I think that the Ravens will offer a franchise tag for sure.
Oh, you're
but
saying
I think
that he
Lamar
won't
Jackson
sign it.
won't sign it. Yes, I think at this point now things have gotten so bad, and we have seen so many other guys get deals that he's going to be like, bump your franchise tag. I don't want to be the top 5 average of these quarterbacks. I should be in the top 5 just getting paid in terms of contract in these in this mix. So I really do see it like, if you guys aren't going to lock me up long term, I'll find somebody who will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, but I thought that he had more leverage before the season and he should have held out there. It's a weird situation, and I know that his people called Stephen A. Did you see that? Where said that he didn't want or he didn't demand all guaranteed money. So there's all kinds of stuff out there floating around. But I'm not mad at him if he wants a fully guaranteed contract because other guys have gotten it. You know, it's not like this is out of left field and nobody else has ever gotten it in the league, and you're trying to set some sort of a precedent. That's not the case. But guys with lesser talent and have done less in the NFL have gotten them.
And so that's my thing. Like, if I'm looking at Derek Carr on the other side of 30, that I would be running as much as I could trying to get the Baltimore out of there, just like they got the Colts up out of there in the middle of the night and moved them to Indianapolis. I would try to get Lamar up out of there in the middle of the night. What do you know about that? I
remember watching that on the news. They had the video or the film back then.
They got documentaries, Rob. All they do is they cut up old news footage. They tell everybody who's young like me what happened.
It was, it was the greatest, and you probably saw it then if that's why you saw it. But the mayor who wound up being the governor of Maryland, but the mayor, Schaefer, Martin, did you see the video of him? He's like, he puts on his overcoat, like they call him in the middle of the night, and he puts on his overcoat, and he's standing there as the Mayflower trucks are taking their equipment and stuff, and he's crying, like that the team had moved out.
Yeah, I mean, I get it as somebody who is a obsessant New Orleans Saints fan. And honestly, wouldn't want Derek Carr either to be the quarterback of my team going forward. Rob, the thing is, we look at some of these guys who have come off of not necessarily super high-level careers, almost like top. Derek Carr is, don't get me wrong, a starting quarterback in this league and has been, and it's not like he was out of place. However, we weren't talking about him as a top 5, top 3 guy. Right? That's not the way that we talk about Derek Carr. When you look at the way that some of these other guys in that same vein, like Russell Wilson's the number one example with a bullet, this doesn't work out well for the team that goes ahead and leverages all of that. And maybe if you want to look at the Rams won a Super Bowl with Matt Stafford, but you look at them now, they're not going to compete next year and didn't compete this year. So I don't know if Derek Carr, and I'll say this, no, I do know Derek Carr and his, 2 or 3 postseason games played total in his career, that doesn't move me as something that is winning a title in New York. And I think that if you're at the point of it, obviously you want to win a Super Bowl, and the Jets need to get.
Okay, but say they don't get Lamar Jackson. What are the other options? Well, I mean, like that's their best option. I don't see Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets. He's not going to do a Brett Favre and follow that. I don't believe that. So what would be their? They don't get Lamar. They're not making a trade. Then what would be your option for the Jets? Because they obviously need a quarterback desperately.
Look, if you can get Derek Carr at the right number, then sure. And I know that the crazy part is, honestly, I would go try to get Geno Smith, but he's not going back to New York either. He already played there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's not going back, and that's a very hard move to sell on the fan base. But I think of Derek Carr, Geno was better than Derek Carr last year. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, Kirk Cousins was better than Derek Carr last year. Like, Jared Goff was better than Derek Carr last year. And so maybe the move for New York is no move because you have this super young team, or you draft a quarterback or whatever.
Obviously, their fan base ain't going to buy.
You're not. Look, I say no move. You're not running out Zach Wilson again as you're starting quarterback Hampton.
Then what would your no move be then? That's what I'm asking.
You draft a quarterback and you open up a competition again in the same way. Like you open up, you draft a guy and then you open it up in the same way that you would. Like the Jets quarterback situation should be an open competition right now unless you go and get somebody who's walking in to be the minted starter. And I don't think Derek Carr is the answer as your minted starter to walk in the way Matthew Stafford was in Los Angeles.
I think he is. I think he would be something that they haven't had in a long time. And if you get the right situation and circumstance, I mean, he's been through a lot. I'm not the biggest Derek Carr. I'm not saying he's a stud star, but they have a lot of things that you could like about the Jets team, their defense, and they run the football and a couple of other playmakers that you get a quarterback, a veteran guy who's played, and he could help them because they've just been in quarterback hell for a long time. And you know, Martin, you could have all the other pieces. If you don't have a quarterback in the NFL, you're almost out of the equation. And that's the hard part. That's why
your team's got to be so good.
Half the teams would take a different quarterback if they had an option. Half of the teams because they're not happy with their quarterback play.
Yeah, but I just feel like the worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is to go ahead and be a team like Denver, who has spent every pick going forward damn near to go get Russ, and then still be unhappy with your quarterback's position. Like there's one thing to be saying about throwing a whole bunch of money after it and making the wrong decision. That will extend your being in QB purgatory that much longer.